Hi, I'm Teja Gerken with Peghead Nation, and I'm here with a Waterloo WL-14 guitar. Waterloo is a line of guitars that was introduced by Collings Guitars of Austin, Texas a few years ago. And it's a very interesting line of instruments. It's also one of the final projects that Collings founder Bill Collings was involved with before his passing in 2017. And it's a very interesting line of guitars in that it sort of recreates or is inspired by some of these inexpensive guitars back from the 1920s, teens, 20s to 30s, which were used by a lot of blues guitar players over the years. Really were used by a lot of different guitar players, but which are becoming increasingly difficult to find because at the time they weren't built as well as some of the more high-end guitars at the time, and they tend to have had a rough life. Many of them were sold without cases and were subjected to rough conditions. So finding the original guitars like this, which were often sold in catalogs and such at the time, is becoming increasingly difficult. So Bill had the great idea of kind of recreating a guitar that is inspired by the spirit of those guitars, but using the kind of construction methods and the high-grade materials and the things that Collings is really well known for in a guitar like this. Now, the design of the guitar is a lot simpler than you would find in a Collings instruments, and it does reflect in a much more affordable price. But these guitars do use the same kind of standards of craftsmanship and materials that you would find in a Collings guitar. So the model I have here is a WL-14, and that model is available in quite a few different variations. The one that I have here has an all-mahogany body, mahogany top, back, and sides. And of course that by itself already lends a certain sound that you expect from an all-mahogany guitar. It tends to have a little more compression, great mid-range, and so on. These guitars are available either with ladder bracing or with X bracing. And this particular guitar has the X bracing option. Ladder bracing, of course, would be instead of the X, it would just be straight bars across. And that was common with some of these vintage guitars of the era. And a lot of people really like those, particularly for playing blues and kind of having a little bit more kind of mid-range heavy, perhaps a little bit less refined sound. That is also very cool, but this guitar does have the X bracing. This guitar also has what is called the thinner neck option. The standard WL-14 has a very kind of chunky vintage style neck with a strong V. This one has the small neck option, which still has a slight V feeling to it, but it's a much more contemporary feeling neck than you would find with the standard option, or for that matter with most vintage guitars of this style. The guitar has a 24 7/8 inch scale, so relatively short scale, nut width of 1 3/4 inches, so very comfortable to play. It's got an Indian rosewood fingerboard, a straight bridge, ebony bridge pins, and very simple appointments, as I mentioned earlier. It's got ivoroid binding, just a single strip of ivoroid binding all around the body, both the front and the back. The rosette is also basically just a piece of ivoroid going on the inside of the sound hole, which particularly with this mahogany top, I think is a really beautiful look, very clean and simple, understated, but very nice looking. You'll also notice that the guitar has a very, very thin finish. You can feel the wood's pores with this finish, so that's another difference from let's say a Collings guitar, which would be more of a gloss finish. At the peg head, we of course see the Waterloo logo up here, and it has Golden Age restoration tuners. They're 3 on a strip, open-geared vintage style tuners, and they work really quite well. So you heard me play the guitar fingerstyle in the intro to this video, but let's also listen to Peghead Nation's Scott Nygaard playing the guitar with a flat pick. Some lovely playing by Scott Nygaard there. Great to hear the guitar played with a pick as well. I should mention that this particular instrument was provided to us by Griffin Stringed Instruments in Palo Alto, California, and we thank them for their support. And I'm just going to play a little bit more fingerstyle on the guitar. I've got it tuned to D major tuning now, which of course a lot of blues players use, and a lot of people really find that these kind of all-mahogany guitars have a lovely sound in open tunings. So I'm just going to play out a little bit in this. Thanks for watching, and my name is Teja Gerken. We hope you come back here to Peghead Nation for more of our gear demos.